Hello guys, welcome back once again to my channel. Today we're going to do another tarot reading, energetic tarot reading for the K-pop experience. And today we are going to talk about a very sensitive subject, but that it's very common nowadays. I think that I was seeing that everyone is talking about idols and mental health issues. And I think that there are a lot of people making videos and talking about it or trying to share their point of view or trying to share their opinion. And mental health state, it's something that it's very complex, it's very personal. And you have to be very careful, and at the same time you have to be very mindful about how you express yourself about this. First of all, because not all the symptoms apply to the same person, in to different people in the same way. This is what I'm trying to say. I as a counselor myself, sometimes I do meet people with different mental states, and the symptoms are very different and the circumstances are very different. Of course, that stress can play a huge role in this kind of in you feeling a bit unstable mentally. But that doesn't mean that you can get depressed. I mean, depressed, like I always say, to have depression, it's very, you have to go through a lot of tests and a lot of observations in order for the therapist to get to the conclusion that you have it. And in anxiety and for anxiety attacks is the same. So it's not that easy, like saying, oh, I have anxiety, and this is what sometimes amazes me about how people talk so lightly about it, or probably they talk about mental health, not only for being like, oh yes, I had it, or I had a friend that had it, I have a family member that had it, and by the end of the day, it's just opinions, or it's just exchange of experiences. It's like me telling you a tale and not actually raising awareness, because the first thing for you to raise awareness and not to seem that you are making a video just to talk about it because you want to have something to say, is for you to be able to understand that not everyone's experiences are going to be the same. So there's something about mental health that had been so discussed, and that label had been so used, that it's losing its how serious this is. And probably the people that are really going through the real struggle of dealing with this situation are probably the ones that are the most silent, and that they keep it to themselves and that they don't share it with others. So let's see a bit about how it could affect being an idol with this kind of mental state, with having struggling with mental health, and what could possibly be the environment that actually, like, it's not that the entertainment is just the place that it enables this to happen or makes this happen. Of course, it is the sum of a lot of situations and circumstances. This is why I say that, and I repeat, this is not, you have to take into consideration a lot of things. Let's start with the cards. I pulled cards from the Oracle of the Chakras, and then for the messages, angelic messages, and then the Oracle of the Seven Energies. So let's see a bit about what the cards have to say about it. The first card that came out is dedication, vanity, soulmate, forgiveness, and quieting, quieting the mind. So it's actually this reading. It's very deep in the sense that the first card that talks about dedication actually talks about where you lay that or where you decide to put that dedication into. And then when you have the vanity next to this, definitely is talking about how idols could easily could get themselves into this kind of trap where sometimes they focus so much on their appearance or at least their culture or the work environment and the industry that they are in. Actually it is like it faces them all day long to focus on their appearance and on what they have to modify in themselves physically and what they have to modify when it comes to their language, their posture, what they wear, the color of their hair, their nose, their weight. So it's all like very banal, very like it's all about vanity, these roles that they play. Even though, of course, that idols do have a training and do train a lot when it comes to their talents and when it comes to the music and when it comes to performance, and they have to be perfect also in that sense. At the same time, there's something about self-image that actually it's like they always get this reminder at least once a day that they need to be dedicated if they want to succeed to the vanity, to what they look like, to their appearance. Because it's like as if being a little bit chubbier or being a little bit like different or not fitting the standard of what's called quote unquote beautiful, it's a sin and it's something that you cannot let happen. So I think that this is what sometimes triggers a lot of insecurities and also takes them away from being able to do some soul searching or to do some to be more aware of themselves, of their own self, of what they really want, of what they really need in their psyche, in their mind, in their soul, and in their heart. It's like they are so immersed in this profession where you cannot forget to look your best, and there's always something to work on when it comes to appearance. So this is why sometimes when they do struggle mentally or emotionally with some pressure or with some situations that could potentially make them feel anxious, they just ignore this. They ignore what makes them feel uncomfortable, what makes them feel that they are not being themselves, what makes them feel that there's something wrong, what makes them actually, it confuses them because they are so focused on the exterior. And I think that I think that it's a way of manipulation as well from the people that actually are like so interested in them, like telling them to focus on fixing some part of their physical appearance or working out or doing some diet or dyeing their hair. It's like they always give them this kind of activities related to appearance. And when they get good feedback, for example, if you lose weight or if you look prettier or if that hairstyle suits you, it's like they feel good about themselves. They are like, okay, I'm doing a great job. And you're probably ignoring that actually deep inside there's like some kind of nervousness, there's some kind of instability in your behavior. It's like everything is covered up. So this is why I think that there's a huge distraction here, because the dedication is put in the wrong place. That is the place of vanity. But of course, I'm not surprised by what the cars have to say, because actually their industry it's based on looks and appearance and of being attractive. So I don't think that it shocks anyone actually. And then when we have soulmate, the car of soulmate, definitely I think that their souls and the fact that they are in this industry and that they are doing this profession also has to do somehow with their soul journey or the purpose of their soul to live this life as idols. And probably their members or the people that they work with, they have very strong soul connections. It's like these people that they work with, or probably that they are, I don't know, members of the same group, probably they have like a soul journey to do together. Because here with the soulmate, it means that they are together in this industry, and they are together with these certain people because they need to learn something from each other, and that they had history before. Whether it was fortunate or unfortunate, we don't know. That's their soul wisdom. We do not know it, but if they do have some lessons to learn, this is why sometimes these groups are made. So I think that maybe probably the fans could actually see this, especially when they see the dynamic between certain members, that it seems there are members that sometimes when they are really good friends with each other, they are like, oh, this is my soulmate, or oh, we're so similar that we are soulmates. So I think that somehow, even though this industry is like, it's very based on looks and appearance, and it's one of the first things that you need to modify it, and that you will probably have to work on for the rest of the period that you are in there. It also, there's like an opportunity for you to grow when it comes to relationships and when it comes to what your soul needs. So probably when they meet or when they are in these groups, that they have these members, and that they get close to some of them, or they get close with each other, they are like, oh, now it makes sense. It seems like I know you from somewhere else. Like there's a soul journey that they have to transit together, which is very meaningful, which means that thanks to their teammates or thanks to the people that they work with, even though sometimes the industry can be a bit harsh, and sometimes being in this profession is not always healthy for them mentally, there's like a possibility for them to actually do some inner growth when it comes to their spirituality. And this is why it's important for the members to be able to open up to each other and being able to be there for each other and to listen to each other and to work together to be a better version of themselves and to share struggles together, because I think that there's like this karmatic union between them. There's a reason why they met and why they are part of this group. And then there's the card of forgiveness. So yes, I think that this is also something very meaningful, the word forgiveness. I think that definitely they do feel very pressured when it comes to their how dedicated they are to the superficial things in life. Sometimes maybe they do see themselves as being a bit fake, or maybe as not being authentic enough, or maybe not being able to be as open or as free or as spontaneous as they would like it to be. So I think that when it comes to forgiveness, I have the feeling that sometimes maybe the pressure that actually leads them to feel to having these mental health issues is that they cannot forgive themselves. They cannot forgive how much they had to go through or what they had to do in order to be successful or in order to stay relevant. I think that there's a lot of things that they feel like they are not being faithful to themselves, and they feel like they recognize that they are in are like spending so much energy on the outer side of life instead, and probably inside they feel really miserable. So I think that here the card of forgiveness definitely it is something that I think that if they do struggle with mental health issues, the key would be to, of course, to have someone to talk to, someone that they can trust, like a counselor or like a therapist, and being able to say sorry to themselves, to their self, being able to be like say those words, like I forgive you, like probably there's also resentment towards other people that they work with, probably with each other, with other members, or with a certain person of authority. There's like a lot of wounds in here. And probably also, I think that, that sometimes forgiveness it's something that it's not easy to give. It's not easy for everyone, to be able to say, okay, I forgive. I think that we had talked about Mina, AOA's former member. I have done a reading for her. I have done a reading for her and the dynamic with Jimin. And I think that this girl, that everyone is like giving different opinions about what she's doing or what she wasn't posting online. And I think that she definitely needs to forgive. I think that this is also a message for her. She needs to forgive and move on. But I think that in her case, or in the case of a lot of people that struggle with mental health issues, it's not easy for them to let go. Maybe from an outsider, it's easier to say, yes, let it go, like just forgive. And maybe for them, it's not easy. It is important and it is required and it's a huge role in the part of the recovery and healing. But this doesn't mean that it just comes and goes really easily. That they just say the word, oh, I forgive you, and that's it. I think that this is why sometimes people are very quick to judge other people's experiences. Being like, oh, if I were you, maybe I would have done this. And it's not like that. It's not like that, especially when you are submersed in this kind of negative thinking about yourself and your circumstances. It's not easy. And if someone hurt you, and if you say that that person hurt you because you felt that way, there's no one that can actually deny your circumstances or your experience, because it's your experience only. It's how you felt it was. So no one can judge your own experience. This is very important for people that are actually that had gone through some kind of trauma, that it's really important for them to understand that their experience is only theirs, and that no matter how many advices, no matter how many pretty words, no matter how many poems, or how many like remarkable comments people can make about your own circumstances, the reality is that it's your life. And if your perception is that someone hurt you or someone made your life miserable, there's no one that can actually, right, like being like, oh no, that's not how it happened, oh that wasn't that big of a deal, or it wasn't like that. You know, why would you try to qualify someone's experience if you didn't go through this? You know, this is why sometimes this is a very delicate subject, because it's only people that are involved in this kind of feeling, only they know what it feels like. And then yes, the last card is quieting the mind, and definitely yes, quieting the mind is very meaningful. Also, it's a beautiful card, by the way. That sometimes I think that this is what happens. I think that if we talk about all the pressure that idols go through, I think that this also happens to. I was seeing the other day the case of this Olympic athlete. I think her name is Simone Bales or Bills, someone like that. That she decided that she wanted to quit, or she didn't want to participate in a certain event that they were doing, and everyone was so scandalized by her decision to quote unquote quit. And actually she was really wise when she was able to actually being able to connect with her own self report and being like, I'm not feeling my best. Like, I'm feeling that my mind and my body are not aligned right now. So I cannot do it today. I cannot participate. I think that a lot of people now, especially with the old hustle culture, and you know, a lot of coaches and a lot of people talking about that. Oh, if you don't do this, it's because you don't want this enough, and if you are not successful in life, it's because you don't want it enough, because you're not putting the effort, because you have to put the effort if you want. And there are moments, honestly, when people just don't have the strength to put in the effort, and it's okay to respect them and being like, okay, not today. And it's so hard nowadays, especially with the public opinions and perceptions and criticisms. You know, everyone is ready to criticize you. And it's like, oh, she's quitting. Oh, this person is so weak. And what if? You know, what's going on? What's wrong with feeling weak? What's wrong with vulnerability? Sometimes they think that because they do have the body strength and because they are very talented, they think that just because their body is functioning well, that they can do it anyways. But what about the mind? What about the body? What about the soul? And what about the heart? And I think that this is what happens to idols as well. They are all the time being told that they are very talented, they are great performers, and sometimes they do perform in situations where they don't feel their best or where they are struggling, just because they are still standing on their 2 feet, and suddenly they're like, oh yes, look fine, but maybe they are having like an anxiety attack inside of their minds. So sometimes being standing and being like being okay physically doesn't mean that you are okay mentally and emotionally. So quieting the mind definitely is talking about sometimes when we overthink all the time, when we think about what's troubling us, when we cannot sleep, when we are worried, when we are sad, when we are feeling hurt, and when we cannot let go of things, you know. And I think that this card, Quiet in the Mind, definitely is talking about how the mind is important and how the mind is a huge role in someone's mental health, and at the same time how it plays an important role in our well-being, you know, because I think that the same happens to them, that they can look flawless and they can look perfect on the outside, but in the inside their mind, it's like stressed, and it's always on the edge of, you know, feeling pressured, feeling sad, feeling not comfortable with themselves, or actually feeling like nervous, or actually feeling not content with, maybe I don't know, they read some comments online and they feel attacked, they feel judged, they feel vulnerable. So I think that when we think about quieting the mind, definitely it's talking about letting go. But sometimes these idols don't have the time to let it go, because they have to keep working, they have to keep producing, they have to keep going anyways. So sometimes this is sometimes why they could break, you know, this, and they could go deal with this, you know, this kind of mental issues, because they cannot quiet their mind. They cannot ignore that their mind is telling them that they are not okay. That yes, physically maybe their body is really like working excellent, but their mind, it's like it's a mess. And I think that this is something that they definitely, people that are responsible of them, or are part of their close circle, they do have to take this like some kind of being capable of seeing the symptoms before something like unfortunate happens, you know, or before someone collapses, you know. It's important to see the signs. It's important to give the mind a rest, not only the body, the mind as well. And I think that definitely they do have a lot of moments where they worry so much, and like I said, there are some things that they cannot forgive themselves, and there are some maybe some emotions battle in inside of them that actually doesn't allow them to to feel well. So I think that obviously doing some kind of therapeutic activity is going to be very beneficial for them to avoid these mental health issues to happen, or to affect them like in a very severe way. And actually I think that this since I'm seeing this image of the card of quiet in the mind, definitely I see someone in like doing some kind of meditation, and I think that meditation could also be a very important tool for them to be actually to connect with themselves, and to be able to quiet the mind a bit, you know, to be able to be like, okay, today I will try to not overthink so much, because the past is the past and there are things that I cannot control. The only solution that I have is today, and I will try to live today as well as possible. But like I said, and like I always mention, each situation is different. But I think that the mind, definitely they need to keep focused not only about the routine and the work and the things that they need to change and perfectionate about themselves. I think that they need to also quiet a bit what other people expect of them. I mean, like, connect with their own intimacy, connect with their inner voice, and be like, okay, what do I want? And not only be all the time connected to what other people want them to do or to be. So this is all I have, guys, for this subject. I hope that I made myself that you were able to understand my interpretation. I would love to hear from you, from if you had like a similar experience. If you'd like to share it, I would appreciate it. And of course, I always read your recommendations, and I appreciate it very much that you always give me like a lot of recommendations for my future readings. So thank you so much for being here, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye.